Hello YouTube, welcome to another video by the GeoScholar. The lines of a topographic map, known as contours, are used for depicting elevation and depth. It is important to know how to interpret these lines. There are important concepts to understand. One concept to understand: contour intervals. This is the difference in elevation between contour lines. For instance, if on the map the interval is listed as 50 feet, for every 50 feet, that is the interval you have in between contour lines. All contour lines on a map must have the same interval. And then you have some rules. The rule of V's. Lines often form in a shape like the letter V opening towards lower elevations. This is especially the case when you have stream valleys with water flowing out of a V shape leading through the valley. You have that V shape opening towards lower elevations as that elevation is dropping. And then you have the rule of O's. This refers to the closed O-shaped loops. Closed loops rise in elevation towards the inside and represent a drop in elevation towards the outside. The loops are wider towards lower elevations and more narrow towards higher elevations. The innermost, smallest loop, that's the peak ring. That represents the highest elevation. Now there is an exception. When you have that innermost loop, it can also represent a depression ring depending on what you're trying to represent. It would represent the lowest point of elevation. And very often when you have that case, some maps might use a hashore or several hashores. These are lines, little short lines that are pointing toward or radiating from the lowest elevations. And that is to denote a depression, to show that this is the lowest elevation rather than the highest elevation. But for most cases, when you have the smallest innermost ring, you're going to have the highest elevation, the peak ring. And then you have the spacing of contours. The closer the contour lines are to each other, the steeper the slope you have, the steeper the gradient you have. If the lines are more distant from each other, this is where you have less steepness. The slope is not as steep. So remember, closer the lines are, the more steep it is. The further away the lines are, the less steep it is. And if you have two or more lines beginning to merge, you have a cliff. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you are learning things from this. Be sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe.